A science experiment gone terribly wrong. Here's what's coming up on the Nice Guys on Business.
To be able to connect with the people that are the guests of the show, and as a listener, you really feel like you're getting to know them better, and I will tell you that is huge. That's a huge piece of what the
You want to know the hugest part of podcasting, the most important
There's
thing?
nothing huge regarding you except for your height, maybe.
I want to tell you what the most important component of actually running a podcast would be.
What would this be?
To hit the fucking record button as you're actually going.
Did you not record any of this? Did you just miss?
I am now.
How much did we miss?
All of it.
Are you serious?
We had some good shit.
We're going to have to go all the way back and do this again?
Oh my gosh, it was 10 minutes of gold and we missed it. Oh, fuck.
Broadcasting from the back room of El Pollo Hermanos. It's Los Chicos de Niza por Negocios. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Funkin' fans, welcome back. Welcome back. It is Monday. It is a new week. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler, and joining us for his own intro so we make sure not to misrepresent him, Mr. Lou Diamond.
Well, thank you, Strickland. So glad to be here today.
That's where you're supposed to chime in and say hi.
I'm saying hi right now. You guys can't hear me, or have we lost the recording already?
Now I hear you. Okay.
It's a little choppy.
No, we can hear you, Lou. The problem is,
a little choppy.
You know, what's going to happen is you're going to have all of these great, delicious, wonderful things to say when I'm interviewing you in just a couple of minutes. So you have to be even more intelligent now than you are in your interview because you don't want it to be like a complete letdown.
You know, the best part about this is the bar with the two of you has been set so low that I have no issue to hurdle over this and be intelligent sounding. Okay, so I want the Nice Guys listeners to know that I asked to say I want to be on the intro of this part of the show because I listen to you guys all the time. It's a ton of fun, and I have to. I think I have to share the story of what happened on our delicious sounding interview in Dallas when we did this. Is it fair? Is it okay, Doug? Can I?
But I think, Lou, the second thing that you're trying to say that's going unsaid is when you say, you know, I listen to your guys' shows all the time. So unlike the other people that you interview, I actually hear what your intros sound like, and I wasn't going to let you fuck mine up the way you fuck theirs up all the time. That's kind of what you're saying, right?
Very true. Very true.
So here it is. We are interviewing, and Doug and I were joking about the fact that we don't usually do the interviews in person for both my show, his show. You know, it's really weird. So we went into this little alcove of a conference room in Dallas, Texas at the C-Suite Network conference. And the two of us all sat there, and he's so proud, by the way. He's got this like little smiling grin because he's got
I had my whole setup all set up. I had a beautiful recording station all fucking set up.
He's got the computer run. He's got the phone. The phones are down. We got the room quiet.
Right.
There's some guy from a PR firm who like walks into the back, and like sitting there while we're doing it.
Yes.
We're totally good, and we're doing the whole interview. We're a good 10 minutes in. Strickland, 10. How much content there could be in 10 minutes?
Beautiful amount.
And then he looks at me and he just kind of peers his eyes and he looks. He goes, I didn't hit the record button. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you got to be kidding. We are touting all the benefits of the Nice Guys and specifically the Turnkey podcast, which I am also a customer of. And I'm sitting there going, you didn't hit record? I'm like, are you kidding? I go, that was the most magical stuff. So whatever comes out of that, the show that all the listeners are going to listen to, we'll just get to know that the real great stuff somehow I think was missed. But I think we did a good job of getting back to it, you think?
I don't think we missed any of it. I think that you're that shallow that we really didn't have 8 minutes.
I am that shallow.
We covered it so quickly again. It was so easy just to back up. So Nice Guy community, just so you're aware, if you didn't hear it, because I know there was a couple of technical issues there. 8 minutes in, the recording completely crapped out. No, it didn't even crap out. I never even hit the record button. So now,
hey Doug, you know what? To defend you for a minute, if I remember correctly what happened, first of all, you were using my recorder because I got a little more updated one. You can plug mics into it. And you hit record, but you need to hit record twice.
Yeah,
right? That's what happened. So and this was actually my fault. I'm going to take some responsibility for this. On my recorder, you can hit record once, which will set up the meters, right? So you can see what your levels are, and the record button is blinking red. So it kind of looks like it's recording.
Looks like it's recording.
You have to hit it a second time before it actually records.
Yeah, he is right.
I mean, you literally can see the clock on the thing. lights up.
That's what it was. Lou, that's what it was.
He doesn't even look.
Lou, that's exactly
anyway.
That's exactly what it was, Lou. You hit it right on the head. When I first time I hit it and I saw it blinking. I'm like, no problem. We are now recording. The second time I looked a little closer.
And it still says 0, 0, 0, 0 later, right?
0, 0. I'm like, oh, shit. Luckily, it was Lou, who is also a very good friend of mine, in addition to a client and the guy that I was interviewing, too. So, yeah. So what was the first thing that went through?
That's why I said I had to be on the show today.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead. You go. I'm cutting you off now.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
We're all used to it. It's okay. It's all we do to each other all day.
We're all cutting each other off. That's all we're doing is cutting one another off. So I feel like I'm just part of the regular
Lou,
show.
I got to ask this. What was the inspiration for you to, so Nice Guy Community, so you're aware, and you'll hear this in the interview, we talk about Lou's, his podcast, Thrive Loud. What was even the inspiration for you to even start a podcast to begin with, Lou?
Okay, so the answer that I tell everyone, which is like the real answer, is that I meet and deal with so many amazing people all the time, and I wanted to share that with others, literally, so other people can learn about those that are thriving loud. The answer I'm going to tell to my fellow Funkin' fans is that some motherfucker named Doug said, hey, I could do this for you. We could create a show for you. It's going to be easy. It's not going to take any time whatsoever. You're just going to be able, guests are just going to come, flying in. You're going to have no problem setting things up. You'll never have any recording issues, and it'll be really easy. It'll be just, take it off to the races and go. And you were right. Because I trust Meg. No, in all seriousness, actually, all of that, they're both true. We had that conversation that this was actually, what I love about the medium is that it is actually easy if you know how to hit the record button. But once you've done that, you get, it's great content, great conversation, so much fun. And I joke about this. Look, I love listening to you guys. And this is kind of funny. This past week, I was traveling and I had the different dates to listen to. And I'm looking at it going, I don't have enough time to listen to the whole week. I choose sometimes to listen to the Tuesdays and Thursdays just to see what crap you guys are going to go through before you actually get something done.
I love that.
But that's what makes the show so good, and that's what makes it great. And I think we talked about that in this interview. It's the banter that makes it great. I'll just have one, and this will be a fun plug here. Recently on Thrive Loud, I had Jackie the Joke Man Martling, and we talked about when Jackie was the head writer for the Howard Stern Show. And he tells he's an unbelievable individual, really funny comedian, but he's more of a joke teller. But when he was the real magic that he calls that little extra bit that made the Howard Stern Show so successful was the chemistry amongst the rest of the crew that was on that show. And that's what the two of you guys have excellently. It's just to get this, you've known each other for years. You could poke fun of each other, but your timing keeps getting better. 400 some odd episodes in. And that's why you keep getting all these lovely people to subscribe. Which I'm hoping many of them will listen to this and say, dude, I got to listen to that Thrive Loud guy and subscribe as well. So
I continue to be amazed at how quickly, you're really about maybe 12 or 13 episodes into your journey, right? You're not very far into it. And it's just amazing to me. I listen back to our first episode, listen back to our first 100 episodes. We fucking sucked. We suck now, but before we really sucked.
We didn't have our own coaching back then, Doug.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
I would love to say this. That's actually a great point. On a recent episode, Doug called me up. He was listening to it wherever he was, probably in the shower or alone in his bedroom. And he listens to it, and he gave me some great advice. Sometimes when you have good guests on, you kind of want to let the guests go a little bit. But I also tend to talk a little bit too much in the beginning of my episodes, and I've been actually consciously cutting that down. So that coaching actually has been very helpful. And I've been finding myself listening to a lot of podcasts, and I try to listen to you guys for helpful hints, but I find it's now more of a collective list of what not to do. No,
well taken. Well taken.
I think it's, well, yes, but all the coaching and all of that stuff is great. Your guests are important. It's the open banter you need to have, but this little part that we're doing right now, this is what people love. People love the opening stuff. Like they're going, okay, I'm kind of interested in hearing what Lou and Doug's interview's about, but this is the fun stuff. Literally checking off boxes of the bingo board, which hold on one sec. We have to get to this. I literally wrecked my car trying to make my freaking bingo a couple weeks ago because listening to the show, and I'm like, holy cow, guest has an inferior phone. I got to check this off right now. Let's click it, and then boom, the car goes into a tree. That didn't really happen, but it sounded much better. Yes.
We take no responsibility whatsoever for that. If the insurance company says that they blame us, no, we can't do that.
Strick,
we do have an interview today that I'd like to get to. It's some guy. Lou, it's with you, right?
I heard he is such a good-looking guy and so much fun, and I'm pretty sure that most people will enjoy looking at him on the radio. Now, of course, you do have a guest today. I think it's me.
Hey, Strick, this is going to be a shit show of a recording for you to have to edit. I just can't wait to hear how well this comes through. I'm listening. I can almost hear the Girl from Ipanema music playing in my head as the entire intro is going right now.
It could happen. It definitely could happen. In fact, I've already decided one place I'm going to edit. You remember, Lou, where you said, hey, here's the real story. But the story I tell everybody is it's because the nice guys have trained me. That's why my podcast is so good. That first part will never make it to the final edit. It's going to be... what is the real reason that I got into podcasting? It's because the nice guys wanted. Yeah, it's total. That's all you're going to hear. It's going to get cut out. Yeah.
Hey, listen, whatever works, and continued success to both you guys. You do a great job on the show, and I hope the listeners enjoy our little episode, Doug. And I think Strickland should start getting involved in the interviews, and they should play. You should have Topsy-Turvy Week, and what you should do is have Strickland do the interviews and have Doug try to do the editing. He doesn't have any DJ gigs to do this summer. There's no religious occasions on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I think he actually should start. I think that would be a great task to see how well-versed and well-equipped the nice guys are to step in each other's shoes.
Well, Anna is on with us all as well, and as soon as you said I should get involved, Anna types in yes in the text. All right, Doug, we're going to think about that. When you find a guest that you think maybe would bore you, that's going to be a little too technical, you let me know, and maybe I'll do the interview.
Yeah, but Strick,
you set it up like normal, and I'll put it on my calendar.
Yeah, but you're making a valid point. I mean, you're making actually
as a fan of the show. As a fan of the show, I was going to say I love when the guests say hello. Also say hello to Strickland, thinking that he's there for the regular interview.
Yeah,
because they think he's on. They've heard the first part. How you doing? And Doug's like, he's not here. Right
he's not. He's
hey,
not.
Doug, you know what we need? I need to give you a couple sound clips of me saying a few generic things.
That's very true.
You can just play sometime. Like one will be, hey, what's going on? And then another one will be like, very interesting. Tell me more. And then for any of our regular listeners who know that I'm not there, you just keep leading the guest on, thinking that I'm there and I don't talk much.
Yeah, that's probably great. And then towards the end of the interview, you'll just give me hey, it was great chatting with you. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Right, that would be hilarious.
I'm in. Let's we can do that, and that's easy because all you have to do is just give me those single lines. That would be great.
That'd be hilarious. I love it.
Let's do that. Hey, but why don't we do this before we actually get to the interview with Lou Diamond? Let's just take just a couple of minutes just to remind everybody, if you have not yet subscribed to contribute. That's it. It's been so long since we've got
Patreon.com/nice guys. Just give us a buck. Come on, that's all we need, and we'll stop bugging you.
You guys
stop bugging you. But we'll do it.
No, you guys got to switch this. You got to get off the Patreon. I mean, no one's writing a check. You know what? I'm going to write a check for you guys for $100. You can mark this down. I'm literally doing it right now. I'm sending you $100 right now. And I'm upping it just so that the Patreon number can actually have a radar. And I want other listeners to follow and do the same exact thing. There we go. So I'm sending you $100. I'm sending right now to Patreon. It's going $100. Just so they could stop asking for Patreon dollars on the show.
So it's hush money. It's just shut the fuck up.
Patreon, it is hush money.
Okay, so why would you not want to donate on Patreon, but you'll send us $100? Is it that Patreon's too much trouble, or you just don't want to hear us keep begging?
No, I'll send it to Patreon to you guys specifically. I'm putting $100 right now, sending it to you guys, just so you could say, "Hey, we got $100." and you can add to the list.
That'd be
I think you guys
amazing.
need to take action.
That would be amazing.
We're doing it right now.
I don't follow Strick. Maybe just explain this to me, because I understand the benefit of having $100. But tell me, let me in your words that you because I know that you get through to me, and sometimes Lou can't. Explain what he's doing differently than what we're asking for.
I'm not sure either. And, our intro is already into like 15 minutes long. I don't know if we want to keep continuing. I'm a little unclear on that too. But when
do you want to hear you guys want to hear the real thinking? Do you want to hear, this is actually really smart. This is great business advice and good sales advice. You want to hear?
I'm
serious.
All right. Yeah.
Because the sales advice that I've heard is when they sign the contract,
just shut up.
You shut up. I know. So as soon as you told me you were sending $100, I wasn't going to question it, but I am very curious to hear your tactic. Yeah.
So your listeners need to hear this, that when people make contributions, you ever see an auction where somebody, an item is up for auction and all of a sudden somebody says, hey, I'll do it for, put $100 for that lovely collector's item. And now another person says, oh, 100 or 200. All right, so here it is. And I actually am going to send you guys $100 to Patreon. And it's going to go that way. And you're going to be able to talk about it. And other people will be like, Lou sent that. I listen to the show all the time. I'm going to send some money to this. You know what? They keep talking about it, but we don't know name to the action. So now you know the name to the action. Here it is. Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond is sending $100 to your show. And that is happening. You guys can promote it, and other people will do it as well. People react to those that deliver and say they're going to deliver, and people want to do the same, and they want to see you be successful. And I'm letting the listeners know they need this money.
Can I just play devil's advocate for a second? I mean, we have 21 contributors to Patreon. Strick, don't we mention them all the time? And it's like that nobody's following suits. Lou, feel free to send the $100. We appreciate the $100.
Yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from, though. I see you're coming from.
I don't think
of the 20 people that we have, I don't know how many of them have podcasts or have other things to promote, right? So I like what Lou is saying, that Lou is basically saying, look, me personally and my podcast, I am going to be a contributor. So yeah, we're going to mention his show like we don't talk about you enough already. But, I still like the idea of it. I mean, we'll talk about you even more and talk about the podcast even more. If other people that we interview have podcasts, it's not like, okay, you're paying to be promoted, but we're going to talk about you, promote you. And the other thing that you said, like an auction, maybe we should come up with some shit to auction off, And
I think
not
great.
something that's actually worth like, $100, but something like some stupid something signed by us or something that we did that people would pay just so we can say, hey, this is a donation for the show, okay? And you get to have this one-of-a-kind item. Doug's old office chair.
Hey, I was just about to put it out into tomorrow's trash.
Right, or depending on how much you hate your new one, Doug's new office chair.
Maybe so. It is cutting my thighs a little bit. I don't like this.
I've got a good one for you. I've got a good suggestion for a donation. I think you'll like this. You guys should auction off. I know that you guys are talking about it in October, going to Las Vegas, right? You're going to do. I forgot which is the conference that's in Las Vegas. The Blue something that you're going to.
The Gen Blue conference.
Right now. Jan Blue Conference, okay? So what you should auction off this whole summer, and you could put it together, is a chance to do your Tuesday, Thursday show that you would have recorded in there, and someone gets to be the winning guest in the studio. So that someone actually can bid to be on that whole episode. Doesn't matter what they do, whatever it is. They would love to be on that. You've got thousands of subscribers on Nice Guys on Business Podcast. Hey, have a chance to be the in guest host with you guys. So it's like 3 guys, just like what we're doing right now. And you could have someone bid for it. I think that would be awesome.
We are going to talk about this, I think. I really like this whole idea.
Add it to the topics.
I would love to get to the interview, Lou. I mean, we're just holding you up, right? So, you probably don't care.
For the record. Did Doug just say add it to the topics? Like, you're never, so you're kidding? I was on the topics like 2 weeks ago, and I'm still waiting for you guys to talk about me. So here we are right now. Now I'll shut up. We're going to do the show. Everyone's going to have fun, and we're going to have a good time.
I think Lou is delusional. I really do. I think he really is.
Well, yes.
It's a great idea. Let's add it to the. I think it's worth a conversation. It's worth a discussion, because I think that it is something that I have arguments for, and something I have arguments against. And I think we can make both sides of this argument make sense.
But we should do that on the episode. We are proud to be affiliated with the C-Suite Radio Network as well as the Greatness Podcast Network. And at some point, hopefully really soon, we're going to be getting to our interview with Lou Diamond. Does anybody else have anything to say in closing?
I just would like to add this, and then we can get right to the interview. We know that most of you are listening to us on Overcast FM. I also know that I just myself went back to the last 100 episodes and discovered for some reason I had not recommended about 10 of them. And I went back and I just hit the little star. I noticed that me doing that alone had bumped us up from number 8 to number 6 the next day on the Overcast recommendation list, the overall list. We are number 6 overall best podcast recommended on Overcast. Number 1 in the business category. Please help us go back to as many episodes as you can possibly go back to on your phone and just hit the little star button and that recommends us. Okay, now we can get to our interview.
I'm going to grab my iPad and do that right now.
Yeah, Strick, if you haven't done that, damn, man, come on. You watch what happens. We'll probably go to number 3 because you probably can go back to about 50 episodes and do it too.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been probably 20 episodes or 30.
Wow. Yeah, it's time to do it. It's time to do it. Yeah. All right, let's get to our episode with Lou Diamond. We are the Nice Guys on Business Podcast, proud to be affiliated with the C-Suite Radio Network and the Greatness Podcast, whatever, the other one. Let's go. Let's do it. Lou Diamond. Can you believe that?
Do we have to go back and do it all over again? I feel like, what do you think? I'm Strickland? Did you really make this? Is what a rookie
no,
mistake.
I'm like,
why is that, shows in.
Why is that blinking? Why is that blinking? I don't have any and I'm looking. I'm like, what do I have as my backup?
Sorry,
where can I go? And then I was going to say, I'm asking Lou the same questions
start
over
again.
Now? We have started.
To start over?
No, we started. This is
now the podcast show.
This is now the podcast. So go ahead.
So for those of you that missed it, we covered
which
everything.
is everybody.
Where do we start from now? Where would you like to go?
Okay, we're going to go back to the intro, and we're going
to. We're going to edit out the whole thing.
You are so pissed right now.
I'm not really pissed. I'm actually more surprised. I figured I'm with the pro. I am with the Nice Guys. For those of you who are listening, I want to make this clear, and it's a good plug for Doug and for Strickland, that the Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond podcast, I use the production services of Strickland and Doug, and they actually help with the back end of this business. I'm giving you a plug right here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And they do a great job, and they take the content and they have to edit it, which they're going to have to do a lot of because we're going to do the show in backwards order.
All right,
now.
so here's the deal. So Nice Guy community, just so you're aware. So Lou and I were sitting here. We had a great conversation. I hit the record button, and I did not realize on this recorder
you have to press it twice.
Right, you have to press it twice in order for it to actually record. And I just got that flop sweat just started going. Don't put that there, Lou. Somebody's going to walk by and
someone's going to walk by and spill it. I am drinking a Pepsi.
So let me just go back and just give a little synopsis. So Lou is definitely a friend of the Nice Guy community, and he has been since he started paying us. So we're all good. And Lou has this podcast called Thrive Loud, and it's a brand new podcast. And if you have not listened in, you know that we've been promoting it for the last, probably as of the airing of this, probably for about the last month or so. And Lou is definitely a cool guy, friend of our community, and welcome Lou officially to the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Now we got this going.
Well, thank you. I think we did a whole dry run, and we feel great.
My gosh.
Great to be here today, Doug.
So talk about this podcast that you have. So you put together this thing called Thrive Loud. What was even the incentive or maybe the motivation behind a podcast?
So I came out with a book not too long ago, back in December, called Master the Art of Connecting. And that was to share a really valuable lesson that I've learned in my career on all the ways that you need to connect with people. Just like our good host here is, the nice guys finish first type of guy.
Oh, boy.
I've been always one of those people that connects with everybody. And not just because my name is Lou Diamond and everybody knows it.
Coolest name ever.
With my name, I have actually had to come up with many mnemonics on how to remember other people. And part of that is actually when I visually see people, I see them almost isn't like an orb and all the things around them. So looking obviously at Doug right now, this very good looking,
what rhymes
handsome.
with dork?
We're not going to go there. Stork. Actually, he's pretty tall and awkward like a stork. So with that though, it was a way for me to remember people because everyone remembered my name and I didn't remember theirs.
Right.
And I also recognized that I was doing this selflessly. I would look at people and say, how can I help this person improve their business, their life, what they're interested in doing, their passion, their hobby. I would actually see these assets very visually, and I would look at them. Like whenever I see Doug, this is true, I think of his heart, microphone, Nice Guys on Business podcast logo. And I'm always visualizing, see it that way, and I'm always like, how can I connect someone to that? In fact, we're here at the C-Suite Network Conference today. We met some lovely people, and there's one particular individual who actually should have her own show.
And she's the subject of love, isn't it?
Love is her topic. We'll give her a little bit of a plug in a minute. And along those lines, whenever I look at people, I'm trying to help connect them. And as part of my platform, in what I do, I go out and I speak and I coach and I consult people on how they can better connect. So when the book came out, that was one piece of it, which Doug has mentioned. He loves the cover of the book because it looks like,
Pac-Man, right?
On the cover. It's really just a connecting maze.
Yeah, but hold on a second. But how do you go from a regular 9 to 5? Because were you a Wall Street guy or something like a Wall Street guy? Something like a Wall Street guy?
Something like a Wall Street guy,
How do you go from that to being a guy that all of a sudden is putting together these connections?
I was always putting together the connections at work, and the reality is that I was not doing it on a grand enough scale in my mind. I needed to get out of that component of the business. I was doing very well as a top salesperson in fixed income sales at Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Very transforming time for those who knew the 2008, 2009, 2010 area.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was very busy during that time. The line of work that I did was where everybody had to put their money. And because of that, it was great, but then it wasn't, I was watching so many of my work colleagues lose their jobs because the workforce had been changing. Right. And the same energy that I had, something was missing. Something, truth be told, wasn't connecting my dots. And I knew that I had this skill and this ability and the story of how to connect, which is what the book talks about. But I also knew that I wanted to do this more often. I wanted to do something that really was transforming not only other individuals, but great businesses and great people.
Right.
I wanted to take those people and launch them to the next level. So along the lines of coming out with the book, I became a podcast guest.
Yeah, but hold on a second. Here's what.
Yeah.
Because the critical step, I think, is the step that a lot of our nice guy community is going through, maybe now or maybe they will go through it at some point. You've got to recognize that there is something beyond where you are if you're not happy. And how do you then make that step to you got to be pretty bold about it.
Oh, it takes cojones like craziness because, you have to stop, I stopped the income that I was making.
Yeah. What's that day one like?
I will say that it was building for a long time. For those who've ever worked on Wall Street, they kind of put certain handcuffs on you that make it difficult to not just walk away right away. Like they hold vesting shares, to say you have to work a certain amount of time. And I literally was like, please pick me. Please let me go. I became a coach during that time, actually. That's when I learned that I knew I was doing this concurrently. I became a coach. I didn't exactly know what it was going to lead to, but I knew that all of these pieces together were building up to something. It ended up building up into the consulting and coaching practice initially.
How long did you do both of these simultaneously until you said, "Hey, I can't work 172 hours anymore"?
There was a ripcord. In 2013 is when I started doing this stuff full time. I knew I had to do that, and it was something that was important to me. I knew I wanted to be my own boss. I knew I wanted to share the message that I have, and I wanted to connect with lots and lots of different people outside of the realm that I was already doing. And, all the different pieces, the business, the book, and leading into it, the podcast was ways that I could help connect to a larger audience, bigger than just myself, but also to bring these great people and great stories to everybody else. The book was a great way to tell others how they can help improve the way they can connect. And the podcast is a way to show these people in action, these amazing, thriving individuals. By the way, except for when I have Doug on the show, because I'm not so sure how amazing that will be.
We'll make that work out.
That's going to be the best
before.
show.
It'll be the before.
It'll be the before and after. This is what can happen to you. This is a reason why I'll need to.
So talk about for a second the importance of how a podcast really can be something for many different sources. As a host, it can be a business source. Yep. As a guest, it can be a way to amplify your business. As an audience member, in our first dry run of our recording, you had gone through and explained.
I think I had it good. So as the podcast guest, it's a phenomenal way to promote your business, your book, your story, your brand. It really is a great way to extend the reach. Many of the podcast hosts, whether in business or life podcasts, all these different forums, really ask great questions and get get you to really get your message out. It's also a great forum because you don't have to worry about lighting or makeup or whatnot, but it's also
I'm pajamas 24/7 on podcast day.
Yeah, which for the record is kind of scary. You should see what he's wearing now. So with all of that, it is a phenomenal opportunity to tell your story. And I was a guest on a lot of different venues. And what I became after first becoming a podcast guest was I became a podcast listener.
Yeah.
And I started subscribing to many of the shows where I was a guest on. Obviously, I wanted to kind of hear myself.
Right.
But I also was really fascinated with some of the stories. This is kind of funny, but I mean, Strickland and Doug put together a great back and forth banter, and there's lots of different ones out there. What I liked about the forum, though, was that it kept me engaged, and it was not a very long program.
Right.
It was the right size, and it was great. If you commute, if you travel often, it's the perfect thing to listen to. And you get to really know both the hosts and the guests from becoming a listener really great. And you, as a listener, learn every day. I learned something, whether I learned about some of the ridiculousness that they talk on this show.
Of course.
That's one piece. And then moving over to the third variable was that every time that I was a guest, the producers or the host of the show said, you need to have your own show.
Right.
And, with a name like Lou Diamond, I mean, why wouldn't I want to have my own podcast show?
I totally agree. So, all right. So what came first? So you wrote so Thrive Loud is just, let's see, as of the airing of this, you're probably about 10 episodes in now. You're a couple of months in?
Yeah, I think at the time we're playing this, we're about 10, 11 episodes in. We have a mix of I like to say we're talking to those that are thriving in their lives, their businesses, and their passions. And these are people that are taking whatever it is they're doing to the next level. And their story is fantastic. In some cases, it's a startup business. In other cases, we've had great leaders who run hedge funds that give money to charities as part of their business. And we also had some incredible thought leaders, like Billy Howard was on the show.
Yeah.
Angela Myers, spectacular guest
great interview.
show.
I love the one that you were doing, the guy that created the frozen dessert thing.
Michael Sloan, the CEO of Chloe's Fruit.
Yeah, amazing. A great interview. What a great story. Just like a totally fabulous story, like from riches to riches more. I mean, this guy has always been ultra successful in everything that he does.
You'll even get a chance to hear the show of Mark Bombeck, who is the screenwriter for the new Planet of the Apes movie, War of the Planet of the Apes. And Mark started in the mailroom at one of the major movie studios and became a writer and now a producer. So these incredible successes, and they'll share their failures as well, are great lessons for every person in life, business, professional, regular guy listening to the radio. There is something for everybody. And that was one of the things that I wanted to do, is I wanted to extend the reach of the people that I'm very well connected to others so that they can learn about it. And what I love, and this is true because you've done this in a very good form as well. Look, you guys at the Nice Guys podcast, you bring great people. They're all really nice guys on the thing. You guys act in that sense. You're asking the great questions. What I love about the show is that each of the guests have been touting a lot of the things that I preach, the ways that they can connect. They're taking a lot of the things that I've been either coaching them in some cases, they are clients of mine,
right,
and in other places they're great leaders that are mirroring and echoing a lot of the things that are true to really helping to grow and prosper and thrive.
Well, one of the things that I've learned from you, and you may not even see this, but I just see it as an example in action, and this happens when I either talk to you on the phone or I call you, is that you understand totally the concept of working smarter, not harder.
Right.
And you've surrounded yourself, and this has been an area that I've struggled with my entire life. I mean, I've been self-employed for 30 years, and I see it in a much younger guy than I am go through.
I'm not that much younger. I just look younger.
Yeah, well, Strickland, if I tell everybody my age, Strickland's just going to beep it out anyway.
Right, exactly.
So
hold on, is Strickland listening? I just want to make this sure.
I'm sure he's listening.
Tutu's optional, okay? Because it was on the earlier version of this thing that didn't get recorded.
Okay, well, I was going to wait till I got to the part of the questions when I start to ask you about what kind of dress code you would prefer. But all right, so Lou will win the $100 discount. No, he's actually you have to send an email in, and you have to actually tell us what episode we're gonna air this on.
I think I already have the number. I think I could probably back
you got it in your head.
That.
So anyway, the example that you set up, and this happens a lot of times when we talk, is that I'll ask you about something, and you'll say, I don't know, let me check with Janet, for example, is in your office. Or you'll say, let me get with Meg about this part. And you have your web team. And an area that I've struggled with for this entire time of being self-employed is I don't know when to stop working in the business and working on the business. Just share a little bit about how you knew, your whys well beyond your newness in the self-employment space.
Yes, I like that. So there is a lot of, you've probably heard the axiom, surround yourself with people that are way smarter than you are.
Yeah.
Okay, that is something
that's very easy for me.
Very easy for you.
Easy.
And by the way, maybe even easier for me. There are certain things that I know I do really well. There are certain things I know I do not do well at all. And a lot of times it is better to have those that are experts in that field, or that's their natural sweet spot of what they do, to help you with it. And sometimes it can get scary, when you're your own boss. And I've had this conversation with Jeffrey Hazlett. It's hard. Jeffrey wants to do everything. But meanwhile, he's finally gotten smart and surrounded himself with great people. Like he's got his PR firm that I'm just laughing because we're here at the C-Suite Network Conference and there's somebody from the PR firm in the
It's not someone
room.
from the PR firm. It is the owner, the founder of the PR
Carl
firm.
Loest, who's right there. So there he is. There he is. Chiming in.
He is.
So people that surround themselves with great people help you do it. And it's hard not to want to do everything yourself because you have an expectation of what you feel is the right way to do it.
Yeah.
When it came to promoting myself in social media, I did not know the first thing about how to do this. I would take pictures and not even know how to tag it appropriately. And also by the time to do all of that, I found somebody that focused on that particular piece. And also I had to build a plan to get not only, because it all happened at the same time. I wrote a book. I started a business. I launched a podcast show. This is all within one calendar year.
Crazy, man.
And I see it as part of a grand master plan, which is to continue to grow the brand, help to get me to do more types of work, connect me to greater clients and other people to extend what I do, and know that this is an engine that's there, and I can't do it myself. So I had to find the right people to do it. And in so doing, the people who built my website, they're also guests on the show. Fanny and Josh from Analogous, they designed the entire web presence for Thrive and did such a beautiful job.
Yeah,
and
it's a great site.
When you look at it, it like as Fanny said to me, she goes, "This brand is very you," and it is. When you look at the site and you smile, and a lot of people when they meet me, except for maybe Doug and certainly Strickland, most people smile when they see me.
Well, what do you say? What do you say to the person that says? Because I'm probably this guy that says, "Just can't afford it." I mean, I can't afford to put $5,000 into a website or $10,000 into or whatever. How do you say?
What I say is that I can't afford it either.
All right.
No,
all
what
right.
you do is you have to piecemeal it out. Like you have to get yourself a base. You have to know when the timing is right, and understand and believe in yourself that there are certain things that are going to be an investment, into the cost of growing a business.
Yeah.
You've seen this in traditional companies. When a company wants to grow and they want to increase their factory and their plant, they have to expend a tremendous amount of, investment. It might be personnel, it might be taking a loan, it might be going, taking debt onto those things. When you're building your own business, this is exactly the types of thing you need to look at. And yes, there's limitations on when you can do it, and there's realistic things. I've said no to lots of things. No to things that were like, hey, let's, add way more videos into the website and videotape all of my speaking engagements and everything. It's very costly.
Yeah, very costly to do that.
So you have to do it where it makes sense and when it's right. And the truth is, in getting to the benefits of podcasting is reasonably inexpensive.
Yeah.
Even the equipment setup. I think this is a great story. Doug and Strickland have been the producers of the show, and they sent me this email with all the things I needed to buy, and they were so impressed. I go, dude, Lou bought this stuff like on the fly. I literally clicked. It's like, I'm in, because I know that they know this business way better than I do, and I needed help in the stuff that they do really well. And when I see somebody that is going to be able to help me grow from that, I jump right on it.
The thing that was most impressive about that is that the text message I got back from you when you ordered the equipment, which was literally within probably 30 minutes of me sending you the list, was I feel like a kid at Christmas. And he said, no, hold a minute, I'm Jewish.
Yes. As is Doug, so it made it even more strange.
It made it even better.
I think, but all of it, and it's really funny because I've set up a little studio in my house with the microphone and everything, and you really you start to realize, by the way, how to I've been learning every single episode, and you guys 400 shows in, they joke about it all the time. They're like, are we going to ever be good at this? 400 shows in, we're going to be good. I want to say that you guys are great.
Thanks.
The opening banter of your show is literally what draws people in. You guys have this very strange, even your voices complement each other well. The raspiness of Strickland and yours very smooth sounding.
Yeah, if you want to hear Strickland do an amazing voiceover work, just listen to Thrive Loud, and we do often promote his voiceover work on your podcast.
He is the opening, and I love how he goes, he goes with Lou Diamond.
He's good. He's good.
And what's really funny was that we recently changed the music for the opening of the show, it came along with this woman who actually did the voiceover along with it. And I said, no, it's out because Strickland was just
and when you asked me should this woman be considered as a part of the voiceover, and then I said to you, I asked you the question, should we ask Strick? We both decided together. No, let's not ask Strick. We don't want to hurt his feelings.
Strickland's going to be like, what do you mean? What's going on?
So share, before we wrap this up, because we're coming to the end of the interview.
Of course we did, if we recorded any of it, because Lord knows
we
probably
do. We're 20 minutes in. Okay. We're good now. That means we've actually done 40 minutes of recording, because this is the second time through. So share what you see, because you do this on a daily basis. You have customers that you consult, and what are the things that you see are some pretty common errors that businesses are making in just trying to get from where they are now to thriving, which is really the next step?
Great question. I'm going to steal a little bit of are you going to
go one fish, two fish? Are you going to go lollydasco?
Do you hear Centerfold by the Jay Giles band playing in the background?
Hold on, let's hear. I do.
Totally. I totally do. It's a great song.
It's great.
I can't believe I picked that up.
We digress.
So there it was. I want to be sedated. At least it was that.
Carl Post, who is the founder and CEO of the Tallgrass Public Relations Company, he is definitely an old soul. And Carl, you can't be more than what, 35? 50. Wow, Carl's going to be 50 this year. I'm not allowed to say if you're older or younger than me, Carl.
So when it comes to those that are thriving, one of the biggest challenges is there are so many distractions in whether it's growing your own business or taking an existing business and moving it forward. And there's a lot of noise, and seeing through the noise is really challenging. The ability, Jeffrey Hazlett uses the term, he calls it killing squirrels, which I thought was really funny in our interview. If you remember from the movie Up, he talks about, every time the dog heard a squirrel, it would go squirrel like that, and it would turn away. Right. Those are the distractions, and you have to keep focused. It is so important to know what is of value to you. Whether it's, hey, do I do a podcast for my business? Do I need to do more marketing or promotional material? Do I need to look at another business venture that partners with mine? There's so many great distractions that are out there. You need to find out what is core to your goals. And I do this thing with all my clients where we say, okay, what does the end goal look like? And let's map backwards to figure out what are the steps that we need to do to get to that point. And it is so important, and this is the key part, to write it down. Yeah. You can. Yeah. I literally have written down that I wrote the goals of the podcast. If you want to hear them, you'll actually like this. So when I decided I wanted a podcast, step one, get the podcast live. Okay, that was it. Right, just get it up and running.
Oh, wow, that's you didn't have real high aspirations just to get it there.
2, get the listeners, grow the listening base and get listeners to learn about the podcast.
Okay.
3, provide unbelievable value each and every week. 4, get a sponsor to pay for the podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We're not there yet.
Right.
And number 5 is to then potentially syndicate the podcast to the next level on top of that, whether it's radio or whatever, so you can increase your audience. But all that started with one simple goal: get it up and running. And I wrote down those 5 steps, and that's where we are. We're slowly moving.
Well, what's great about that is, and Strick and I, this has just been, again, part of our problem with everybody's got what their hang-ups are. I mean, ours are we create this amazing, I guess I'm going to call it an amazing show because we've been doing it very long, but it's just a matter of just following a strategic plan in order to get to that. Find a sponsor, get people to listen. We're just kind of like a shotgun, and sometimes that's not the best approach to take.
And it's important to know that when you do those things, you may get lucky, and it might just work out. But like anything else, you have to harness that energy and make sure that there's a common path to it. The people that are on the show that are thriving, they didn't actually plan everything from the beginning to the end. It kind of organically got there, but somewhere along the line, they wrote down the plan and what they needed to do. If it's like I joke about it, Mark Bomback, the screenplay writer, he wrote the screenplay for what he needed to do, and he wrote what he wanted. You talk about these different folks, they come up with the plan, writing it down, and trying to live up to it, and recognizing you are not going to get exactly there. You're going to have bumps and bruises along the way. But if you are passionate and you thrive in what you do every day and you love it, and this is what I do. I was put on this planet to work with the most amazing people and make them more amazing. That is what I live and breathe as my super why every day. And that is why I believe in my heart that the paths that I've been choosing, the podcast, the book, the business, is not only going to help make my life better, but it's going to make everybody else's better.
Oh, I love it. Such wise words. If our listening audience, Nice Guy community, and more extreme, our Funkin' fans wanted to get a hold of you to get your book or get more information on you, Lou, how can they do that?
So everywhere in social media, I'm at Thrive Loud, and that's Facebook, Twitter, everything. You could look Lou Diamond on LinkedIn, and the book is available on Amazon, and the book is Master the Art of Connecting, and you can also go get all of that, subscribe to the podcast, or get the book itself at thrivepartners.net.
All right, so Lou, I got to ask that question. You get an invitation in the mail, brother, and it's got a dress code at the bottom. What is that dress code that you're hoping it says?
Oh, I really, really hope it says tutu optional.
Way to go. Hey, I got one other question for you before we wrap this up. You have your cell phone anywhere near you?
It's right over here.
Good. You have an iPhone or something inferior?
I have an iPhone. What's my favorite app on the iphone? I knew that was going to be the question.
Oh,
what is it? Wait,
I don't have it. What is the app that you can't find?
I found my phone, by the way.
You can't find his fucking phone.
What is the question you'd like to ask me?
I already asked it.
What is the app I can't live without on my phone?
Oh, well, maybe that's the question that you ask on your show.
What's your question? I'm sorry, what's your question?
No, my question generally is go to your texting app and tell me the last text message you either sent or received.
Ah, okay. I like that a little bit better.
Yeah, Lou hasn't been listening to the show very long.
You know what happens, guys, is once the banter stops, I start losing
Lou
it.
Lou doesn't actually listen to any of the episodes. He only listens.
I'm 38 minutes in. The music is about to come. The sponsors are going to come out there. He's going to ask everybody to please donate at least $1 from Patreon, and please donate at least $2. Who were the two guys that went from 85 to 83 that stopped the $2?
I don't know, but why would anybody donate $2 to the show and then decide they're not going to donate $2 to the show anymore? Are you really... Listen, whoever that was that took away the $2 from Patreon, just reach out to me at DJ Doug on Twitter. I will send you $2 every month.
My last text message was to my wife that said, "Doing podcast show with Doug, no Strickland, boo hoo hoo."
Oh man, that's great. And go to your photo app. Tell me the last thing you took a picture of.
Well, we're here at the C-Suite Advisors, and I actually took a picture of the panelists that I was with, and this is Deborah Allen. Hold on, I'll see if I can find it here. Hold on.
That's all right.
We'll edit this out because hopefully Strickland,
there will be no editing.
There'll be no editing. He never would have made it to the end of the thing. Hold on, I'll tell you exactly who we had here. It was pretty cool, actually. So we had here Debbie Allen, Colin Shaw, and Kurt Shaver and myself. We took a picture right before we were on the panel at the C-Suite Network Advisors meeting. Watch out for all the pending lawsuits if we don't use the right name.
That's okay.
And that was it. That was the picture.
Excellent. Oh, I can actually see this is the first time I've ever seen the picture legitimately.
This is when you do a face-to-face.
On the phone. So tonight you're doing actually a book signing. How's that going to make you feel?
It's going to be really weird because...
First book signing?
No, I've done book signings before. I've spoken a couple of times and then did the book signing afterwards. This is weird because there's going to be 7 other authors with myself all book signing. It'll be really interesting.
Let me correct you. I think there's 12, actually.
Oh, excuse me. 11 others, book signers, I believe, but myself.
That's all right. Well, you're very unique in your very own way. You're like farting unicorn dust and everything else coming up on the show.
As I close out every one of my shows, be brief, be bright, be gone, and I'm kind of thinking that my short book will be attractive enough to all these guys.
Hey man, Lou Diamond, thank you so much for being a part of the show. I can actually shake your hand for being here. That was cool. Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Lou Diamond for being on the show. We'll make sure we put all of his information in the show notes. I'll let you do you want to do the end?
I'm not doing the end thing. I'm letting you do it. This is your show, man.
Steve O'Brien, take us out of here.
The Nice Guys on Business are professional podcasters. Please do not try this at home. It may seem simple, kids, but lots of people get hurt in the process. Avoid where prohibited, including Mexico, Puerto Rico, Fredonia, or your in-laws. The Nice Guys on Business are not responsible for any claims of liability or any guarantee that these two morons know what they're talking about. There is no promise that being nice to people will help your business, but calling people assholes, dumb, incontinent fuckwads will definitely lose you business. For any and all claims, shit in one hand and wish in the other, and see which one fills up first. Thank you for listening to the Nice Guys on Business podcast. I'm Steve O'Brien.
Way to go.
All right, we're good. We're good.
Oh my God, that was a total shit show of an intro.